Welcome to EJH Bridge Cars. So today I thought we'd get started in on the wiring, since most of the stuff under the dashboard is done. It's the last thing I want to do before I start closing the dashboard up, because I want to be able to get in there easily to hang everything up on the underside of the front cowl. So I bought a brand new harness, and most of the components are new. So we'll get to play with those too. So let's get started. So Terry Ann Wakeman did a diagram of the holes in the bulkhead on our TR3, what they did. And this is much the same for the TR2. There are a couple of small differences, but you'll be able to figure them out. I don't know what our webpage is, but if you Google Terry Ann, TERIANNS, Triumph web pages on TR3, you should be able to find this quite readily. I know I did the other day. So there's the diagram. Here's the first list of description for the by numbers. There's the second here. You can pause your viewing to write that stuff down if you want, or take a screenshot. So this is the wiring harness, and it already has the grommet that goes to the firewall in it, because I suppose it'd be difficult to pull it over all this stuff. So I had already placed one grommet in there because I didn't realize that. So I took that one out, placed the new blanking plug underneath, as you can see, and we'll just feed this wire through. So I'm working through the hole where the glove box usually goes, and it's still a little difficult because you're sort of bent over sideways and everything else. And right here, before you get to the grommet, there are a ton of wires for all this assembly here. And there we go, that's everything up. So one long, one left. And what I'm going to do is just pull this grommet through. It'll be a lot easier putting it in from this side down than the other side up, just because I can just stand here instead of being all bent over underneath the dashboard. So I separated out the wires that go to the voltage regulator here. I want to be careful because there are some wires that have the same coloring, but because they're made up into the harness, some are going up onto the dashboard and some are coming forward. So these ones are actually pretty straightforward, so I'm not too worried about them. But like, for example, there's two just yellow wires here, and when you look, the small one goes up to the ignition light and the big one goes down here to the horns. So you just got to kind of, some of them are pretty obvious, but it's like one of these ground wires goes back and grounds inside the body, another one comes forward here. I'm not quite sure what that plugs into yet, but so you just need to kind of look. So like I say, some of them are pretty obvious because of the way they're cut into the harness, that obviously these short wires go to these pieces of equipment, but it may not be so obvious in other places. So it'd be good to have a volt ohm meter so you can double check and make sure you're getting the correct circuit. So these connections are all pinch connections with screws rather than being Lucar or the bullet connectors. There are a few bullet connectors. So what I want to do, I want to strip them back about 1/2 inch, and then I want to tin the wire underneath so that when they get crushed in here, the wires don't go like this and break off. They weren't done that from the factory, I don't think, but that's the way I like to do them. So I'm going to hold them down here. I expect that almost everything here is a little bit too long, which is a good thing. It's a lot easier to make them shorter than longer. So you want to make sure how they're going to reach in, how they're going to interact with the other wires. I have a feeling that when we're all said and done, I'll probably wind up pushing that back into the body a little bit. I laid the wire out and put it across some of these hold downs. You want to be careful. You can only bend these hold downs a couple of times, and the ones that have been in here since 1955 have already been bent a few times. There are quite a few new ones in here too. But if you just kind of push them over a little bit, it's enough to hold the wire in place till we're done, and then when once we know everything's in and where it wants to be, you can go back 8 later, straighten the wire up, get it running the way you want it, and, you know, clamp it underneath those they're actually little sheet metal T's like that. So this leg got welded onto the body, and that's the one that wraps around the wire. So I'm going to go ahead and strip and tap these, checking for length, and then we'll get back to you. Now here's my first component made up. So these are single wires, and these pair are doubles, so I actually stranded them together and then soldered them, so it's one connection. And I checked with my multimeter. This is the larger wire there, and the smaller wire I found the other end in the pigtail that goes up to the dashboard, which goes up, I think it just mounts to the back of the instrument plate, so to ground all the gauges. But you can see it cut to length. I sort of made sure the wires weren't all crisscross with each other, so it looks pretty good. So I'll just go ahead and start doing some more. I don't intend to do the whole car today soldering, because that gets pretty old pretty fast, but I thought I'd do this area. Now, first little bit is done. I got a new cover for this summer. I'll have to go find it. But it's all cut to length, soldered, tinned ends, clamped down. I wasn't quite sure where this is supposed to go. This seemed like a good spot. If you know better where that should go, send me a comment down below. Appreciate it. Because I'm afraid it's going to interfere with that cover. I don't know. It doesn't seem like any of these bolts, it touches here, or it touches there, or it touches somewhere. The TR3 one shows it up here, but this wire is not long enough to really get up there, so I don't know. So put it down below if you know. It's starting to look better. Well, it's getting late in the day now. I think I'll probably start thinking about wiring the starter in. I just need to get just need some battery cables for that. It's got a gear reduction starter, but you just pigtail the solenoid onto the main power cable, because this is turning the main power cable on and off anyway. Well, enough for today. Well, if you've ever been wondering what one of these wind tone horns looks like on the inside, we've got one disassembled. So we take it apart. This small screw goes through the top of the cap. Once that's off, that's where the wires come out. Just slide a screwdriver up and in there and just pull very lightly, and that will come off. We'll expose all this. This is the mounting bracket that goes on these two bolts where this flat spot is. This is the horn. This is a low, and you can tell by how long that horn is. This is the lower note. It also has an L in the bottom right there, and that high note has an H. This is the diaphragm, and this is the mechanical. So it's got a coil, works much like a speaker does, but when it comes up, you see this rod right here. You see that rod right there? Pushes up and breaks the contact. And the adjustments for this are the fixed point. So that's the lower half. If you look, there's a nut against the bracket right here, and there's another hex nut above that. So the lower one is the lock nut, and then those points are threaded. So it says that those horns are supposed to draw 6 to 8 amps when they work, and together they will pull double, so it should be 12 and 16 depending on which model horn you have. And I don't know how you tell the difference. That there doesn't seem to be any markings on these. It says to adjust them, obviously with this all assembled minus the dome in the car, you lower this contact until it stops sounding, and as soon as it stops, you stop turning and turn the power back off. Turn that a half a turn and then lock it in, and that's what they say the adjustment is. And then check the amperage draw. Instead of the horns, it doesn't change in the depth, doesn't change the pitch of the horns, but it changes how much amperage they use, and it puts extreme wear on them if you got them over adjusted. So they're actually fairly simple. Oh, there's a gasket here too. It goes between the diaphragm and the horn, just so that the air, that's what happened, and this is moving air, vibrating air, and it makes it come out the horn. Here's 4 of the fixing nuts. The other 2 are longer and they go through here. I don't know if they're longer, but they go through there anyway. And that's about it. Now, obviously I've cleaned this one up. This one, unfortunately, is missing a little chunk out of there, but there's nothing much you can do about that. That's super thin, and it's just pot metal. So I'm just going to leave it. It's just part of the history of the car. Oh, and you'll be surprised. The domes were dented and rotted through. If this one sat, it must have sat like this outside, and it filled up with water. And the inside of the dome, I've cleaned it up since, but there was just a big mass of rust down there. So that's why that little tab is in there. I brazed it over, and then I smoothed it off with a little bit of Bondo. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. So I'll just put this back together and see if it works. One thing I should mention, this push rod right here, you see this, the pin of it at the end there. This one was rusted in its bore. So I had to push it out. Just cleaned it up with some 400 paper and assemble it back together. This is some, I put some PB Blaster down it just to give it a little bit of lubrication. You don't want to put anything heavy in there. But that's one thing to really check, and it mentions it in the book too. But it was so stiff that when I pushed it up, it would just hold the contacts open, it wouldn't return. Another quick tip, 11/32 6-sided socket will just barely hold the tabs on these mushroom cap screws. I don't know what the hell you call them. So if they're just spinning and you can't hold on them tight enough with whatever you got, you can try this. This is what I did, and it worked pretty well. And also to make sure you run a thin file through the points here. And I've got a set of jeweler's files, I think they call them, or needlepoint files from Harbor Freight. Very inexpensive, but they have a flat wide one. Did a really nice job of cleaning that out. And then this hoop goes back in here into those slots, and that's what receives the screw that holds the dome on. Well, I hope you enjoyed all that. It's terrible, not really exciting and very tedious, but it's satisfying to get it done. It's kind of fun to take those old beat up looking horns and get them all nice and shiny. And I did test the one that we were working on, and it makes a good sound. Just from cleaning up, I spent absolutely no money other than, you know, a little bit of paint out of a couple of rattle cans. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, and we'll see you next time.